Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Enter the Ether, the podcast all about the upcoming third-person MOBA Ethereal Clash of Souls. I'm your host, the Mangoose. Joining me, as always, is my friend, co-host, UG employee, JellyKnees. How you doing, Jelly?
I am great, Mangoose. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, doing well. Sounds like you got a little bit of a cold, though.
Little bit.
Yeah?
It'll be fine.
You get over it?
Oh, yeah. Slowly but surely.
Well, don't talk
This whole
yourself
moving
hoarse
thing.
for the podcast. It's not that important, bro. Health first. Safety first, then teamwork.
Oh, it's all good. We're good. I sound worse than I feel.
And you look even worse than that. No, I'm just kidding. You look great. As always, you look great. So what we're going to be talking about this week, this is kind of based on a comment that we got on the last video from Darkcraft41. He was saying, because we were mentioning the other ways that they could produce income for UG to get this game up and off the ground. And we were talking about Patreon, and Darkcraft41 was saying Patreon to him or her, not sure which, means a steady flow of information. And I think that's a great point. I think there's a lot of Patreons that offers all kinds of like special perks and stuff, and a lot of that is access to patron only posts. And that's definitely something I would like to see from UG if they start a Patreon. Jelly, you're the inside man. Do you think they can do that?
I mean, I think that's absolutely something that could be done. I think the biggest thing about a Patreon that would appeal to me, being internal and just a community member as well, is the steady flow of information, is going through and learning about things more often and more consistently than we have in the past.
Right.
And so far this year, UG's been way more on track with like giving updates more often. In past years, you see like 8 updates for a year, whereas this year I think they're at like 40 something. So clearly the updates are getting more and more consistent. If we can just push that even a little bit further with a Patreon, I think that'd be great.
Right. And I think as long as you're providing at least something once a week, even if it's just a post, it doesn't have to be videos, it doesn't have to be anything like that, but just kind of a post. And it doesn't have to be game updates. Maybe it could just be a bit of the lore one week, or maybe just I hate to keep using Project Stamina because of what happened with them. I mean, they are still going and everything, but they did kind of implode a little bit. But their Patreon, I thought they had a really good setup. Like, you did get plenty of posts throughout the week, and it wasn't always just about Project Stamina. Sometimes it was about the business of gaming and like all kinds of stuff like that. Just, it could be pretty much anything as long as they're interacting with the community. And I think it's very important if people are going to start coming out of pocket, and I'm comfortable with that now because we do have a proof of concept and gameplay that everybody can look at. If people start paying money, though, we're going to need to see a little more information in exchange for our hard-earned dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I can say that we've talked about just in general for updates, not necessarily tied to a Patreon or anything like that, is looking for more of that content of like lore updates, or if a kit got changed somehow, we can talk about that, or like being more indie developer update-esque, right? That we're bringing the community in on what's going on internally a little bit, and changes we've made and how systems are working and things like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be absolutely great. Something else that was mentioned in the comment was Phoenix Rising. I don't know if you guys remember Phoenix Rising. They were the first ones out of the gate to start like a Paragon successor project. And it wasn't using the assets. They were doing their own thing. And they had an amazing 3D artist, Almighty Gur. And he would stream himself actually creating and modeling, doing 3D work. I would really like to see stuff like that. It doesn't even need to be something as visually interesting as that. If we could just see like the coders like talking through, like looking for a bug or something like that. If like there's a bug in the game, I would love to watch somebody look for that bug, see what kind of steps they take. And I think that would be a great thing for the community to see, so that they know exactly how hard it is once something breaks in the game to go through and try and fix it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'll tie Skifter down to a chair, set up the video camera, live stream it, and you guys can just watch him cry and weep as he goes through the code looking for something.
Well, I don't know if we have to tie him down to the chair, but
No, that's required.
okay.
That's part of the package.
Just attach his beard to the chair. What other kind of things do you think would be possible? Things that you might want to see from a fan perspective? I know you're a UG employee now, but you're still a fan of the game. That's the whole reason why you became a UG employee. But from like the fans' perspective, what are some things that you'd like to see?
I think the big thing, like for Patreon, for me, the couple Patreons that I've backed in the past, polls have been a huge thing with Patreons. That like, and whether it's big, small, otherwise, right? If it's, we want to change the name of this thing, here are 5 options. What do you guys like the best, right? That's such a nothing thing, but it feels so nice as a community member to have that kind of input and have that kind of interaction with the developing team. So
yeah, it feels very inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a fan, that'd be the one thing I'd really want to see, and how they could expand on that would be great for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Maybe not something so big as like a character kit or something like that. Maybe not at the beginning, but definitely like name changes or something like that. The next familiar to be added or something. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing if we could have some polls like that. That'd be great stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've said in the past, the cumulative rewards, I think, is a huge potential option to go down. Of basically, it lets the Kickstarter tiers still exist while also giving other benefits on the basic Patreon tiers as well. It lets you expand that a little bit more.
Yeah. What about alpha keys? I don't know. Could there be like a level at which you can get alpha keys? Would that be a possible thing?
I would say it's possible. I can't guarantee one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I would say it's definitely a possibility. It'll also depend on what and how many tiers of the Patreon there will be. Because I know some places do like 30 tiers and some places do 2 or 3. So it could definitely go either way in terms of that if they were to go down a Patreon route.
I think depending on the amount of patrons they got, I think it would be cool if they would open up like a patron play weekend where patrons, or maybe even just a day, where patrons could get in and play the game for themselves. I think that would be a great perk that would really hook a lot of people in. And if it's people that already believe in Ethereal enough that they're willing to pay, a monthly sort of subscription to UG and the effort to get this game going, then I think those same people would be the perfect representatives to test the game out in a positive way. Not just, I'm not saying don't call out things that are wrong or broken, but I think it's those kind of people that would offer the most constructive criticism of all. It wouldn't just be, you allow free access to a game and then people just shit all over it because they lost their first match or something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think you'd be getting a better quality of tester that way, of alpha.
I think
tester.
It's one of those like skin in the game kind of thing, right? If somebody's willing to put money forward, they want to see the thing succeed, so they're willing to give more constructive criticism, more constructive feedback to the team that they're giving their money to, because they nobody wants to feel like they wasted their money, right? And so that's definitely a great thing. UG team, take notes.
When you said skin in the game, I thought you meant literal a skin in the game, which is also a great idea. Like patrons get a skin, a specific patron skin.
But it's absolutely, there's so many options. Luckily with Patreon, it's such a versatile platform that like if they go that route, there's so many things they can do. Individual tiers having different rewards, the cumulative rewards, the like just so many different things you can give in that space. It's slightly more limiting in like an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter area.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the way to go, and I think they're UG's already trailblazing with the NFTs. Are they going to do more NFTs? Because I think the first round was so successful
with accuracy, one way or the other.
Yeah,
I know it's been talked about to do a set 2, but I don't know for sure if it's going to for sure happen or not.
I would love to see a set too, because I'm far more financially stable now, and I would actually throw into it, I think.
What? Mangoose getting NFTs?
Yeah, as dumb as I said it was, they're so cool. And like watching you open them up and go through and like combine all your shards and everything, it looked like a lot of fun. So I kind of...
Yeah, dude. I still go out and check, like, is there some that are cheap today? Like, can I go out and buy them? I do that all the time.
Oh, sorry for all that coughing.
All good, I get it. No, but it'll be really good to see consistent updates from UG, whether they go a Patreon route, whether they go Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that there's a lot of things happening in the background that will provide for a lot of those updates. Can't go into any specifics, of course, right? But there's definitely plenty of updates coming in the near future that can be used on both a regular basis and a Patreon type basis.
I hope if they do go with an Indiegogo that they've learned their lessons, set their initial goal low, and then set stretch goals, because people are more likely to contribute to a project that looks like it's going to succeed. So you want to give the appearance of success so that you succeed. It's kind of a weird roundabout thing there, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Mangoose? What's one thing that you haven't seen other games do, or you have in very rare forms, that you would want to see in whatever crowdfunding comes next, whether it be Patreon or Indiegogo or anything like that?
I think mainly what I was talking about with programming. Nobody seems to want to show, and I get it. Nobody wants to show the programming side of things, but I think there's enough interest from the player base in that sort of thing. I mean, even if there's probably proprietary things involved that they can't show with the programming, but if they could set something up where they're just coding something, I would love to see that. I wouldn't understand it. It would all go way the fuck over my head, but I want to see it. I think there's plenty of other people out there that would love to see it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can't go into specifics, but there are days where Skifter and I sit in a call for 6 hours and we're going through bugs, we're going through items, we're going through myths, whatever it might be, right? And I think that that's something with the right approvals that could easily be turned into a live stream for people to ask questions. And even if he's working on the coding side of it, I can answer questions or I can facilitate or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's definitely an option we can look to explore in the future.
That's definitely something I want to see a lot more companies do, is have somebody designated to answer community questions while the other person does the thing. Because like that Overprime demo, I had so many questions that just went completely unanswered because the guy was streaming. He was trying to play the game, and like people were giving him shit for not playing the game well because he's trying to answer questions. And it's like, stop giving this guy shit. He's like up against the that really that grinds my gears. But yeah, I think just having somebody dedicated on the side to answer a lot of those questions is a great idea.
Just like you said, provides a little bit of ease for the person doing the thing, and then also gets a lot more questions answered more thoroughly because they're not trying to multitask and they're not trying to do two things.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to see a lot more of that from everybody, not just Ethereal. The other thing I want to see, I did a poll last week during the premiere of Enter the Ether, and 69% of the participants wanted to see a Skinny Dip Marina skin. I think that is so just on the nose with the 69% of the people. I just want to know who voted against it, but yeah, let's get that as a patron only skin. Skinny Dip, you voted against it.
I voted against it 100%.
I know a couple other people did too. It is it is a stupid idea. Of course, I'm just kidding, and we're not going to have nude skins and Ethereal.
No, I mean, you take it to Owen. I'll let you take that one to Owen all day long. Pitch it to him.
Bro, I know Owen. Owen would be down.
I mean, you bring up another thing though of polls, like polling for skin ideas, right?
Yeah.
That you say similar to what they've done in the past with Malaya and they've done with Nikolai, right? Is okay, here's 2 skin concepts. What do you guys want to see? Which one do you prefer? Etc. Right? That's another option that can go into the future, especially as more myths get added to the game. You're going to see a lot more of those chances for new skins and new things to come out for the community to interact with, familiars, all that kind of stuff.
My biggest fear with all of it would be that the patrons get all the info and the rest of the community gets none of the info. Like, I would hate to see that the flow of information to the greater community gets stifled because of the Patreon stuff. I would like to see the patrons get extra information, not all the information. Because I think that was a bit of a problem I saw with Project Stamina, is they were putting out so much patron only information and barely anything was trickling down to the greater community. And I think there was a lot of that stuff that the greater community would have liked to see. And a lot of the patrons didn't care. They were like, yeah, no, go ahead and release that stuff. You know, we paid for it, but you know, every once in a while, throw everybody else a bone. I would hate to see, I don't want to see that. I think that's a pitfall that UG could fall into if they go. I mean, we don't even know if they're going to go with the Patreon route. This is all up in the air right now. This is all supposition, but yeah, that's definitely a pitfall they need to avoid, is funneling all the information to patrons and none of it going to the community.
Yeah. I would think they'd probably continue the trend that they did with the Kickstarter to an extent, of that information may go to the Kickstarter or Patreon first, and then hours later, a day later, whatever it might be, then trickle out to the rest of the community.
Right.
So you get that early access to information, but it's also not limited to just patron people or whatever, comparatively to the rest of the community. And that's something I try to focus on, is making sure that the people that aren't willing to monetarily back the game aren't left out for some reason, right? Because they're just as big a part of the community as anybody else.
Maybe the information is early access for patrons, but you still get that exclusivity by being able to vote in polls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
We figured it out, Jelly. Let's do this.
There we go. We're doing our own. Enter the Ether Patreon.
Let's call Owen right now.
Content.
Let's get him up before we even stop the show.
You get Mangoose rants every day. They're not necessarily about anything good. They're just Mangoose rants. You get a 30-second rant every day of the week. You'll get our custom Lego set if you back high enough. You'll get a Malaya body pillow if you back high enough. What do we got? What else we got? What proprietary things do we get?
Did we have a Marina kiddie pool or something like
that? There
you go. Which that's been fixed, though. It doesn't look like a kiddie pool anymore.
So something about Mangoose and anybody in the comments or listening is community corners. Mm-hmm. Would you want to see those make a resurgence in some way?
100%.
And how would you want them to be more so going into the future? Like, what would you want them to talk about or cover?
I think the community quarters should be along the lines of what we were talking about before, where somebody's actually physically working on something on the project, and somebody else is there specifically to answer questions. I don't care if it's streamed. I don't care if it's pre-recorded. I would just like to see some kind of community corners. I think streaming's fun and all, but it makes people very nervous, more so than a pre-recorded thing. So just whatever people are comfortable with. But yeah, I would definitely like to see a return of the community corners.
I 100% agree with you. Yeah. I feel like it's something that had a lot of potential for the community and can definitely continue as such to bring a lot of that information to everybody in a more digestible form that doesn't require you to go out and read every blog post. Do all of those things and get a tinfoil hat where you break down every little minute detail of every little thing.
Yeah, it might be asking for too much, but like, if we can get a community corner, if we could get an outline of their roadmap of where they want to go, and they get the community corner, at least a section of the community corner every month that tells us, what they have accomplished, what their setbacks are, why they haven't accomplished certain things. That would be amazing. I would love that much transparency from UG. Don't necessarily expect it. You don't get that kind of transparency from anybody else, really. But that would be cool. That would be cool to see. That's probably just wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, I think a roadmap would be an awesome idea, honestly. My only concern, as a member of the community, as much as anything else, is their kind of track record in the past,
yeah.
right? And so it'd be something that I would say if UG put something out, that would be the like, we are 100% on this, because if there's even a question in their minds, probably better safe than sorry not to.
But if they were doing weekly or monthly community corners and then telling us why they haven't reached certain goal at this stage, I think it would be far more acceptable than in the past, where they announced the alpha this time and then nothing happens and you don't hear shit from them for like 5 months. It's not nearly that way anymore. Like it is definitely improved since that time. But yeah, I think if people were to receive an explanation as to why things were delayed, they would be a lot more okay with the delays.
I absolutely agree. I think transparency is key, especially in this situation with the past that UG has in terms of the development cycle for the game, right? I think transparency is key, just keeping people up to date, what's going on, how it's happening, what the plan is, all that kind of stuff is huge.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about all I had to talk about. Did you have anything else you wanted to address, Jelly?
I think that's it for me as well.
Cool. You got anything you want to plug?
A game called Ethereal Clash of Souls.
Go play
it. Small indie game. I don't think any of you have heard about it,
Yeah, I really got nothing to plug. Just videos. Been trying to do a lot more videos. Probably going to premiere a lot more of my videos just for funsies, so I can chat with people while I'm doing it. I did that today with the Richter video, and people seem to have fun with that. People actually like the insane intro I recorded. Like I asked Jelly, I was like, should I post this? And he's like, no. He's like, it made me laugh, but don't.
No, you have to tell them, though. You also sent me that at like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
You're like, here, listen to this. It's like, what on earth is this?
And it was great advice. I'm so happy that I listened to you and just like, I was going to open with that. I was going to put that at the start of the video, but after like Jelly told me, I was like, you know what? Let me sleep on it. Let's do it in the morning. And I'll listen to it in the morning. I'm like, holy fuck, I sound maniacal.
Oh my God. I thought you were doing a British impression for half of it, for sure.
Oh, really?
I got to a point where I heard you like, you did this like switch in your voice. And I was like, trying to be British? Like, I can't quite tell. It could just be he's had a little much to drink, So, but yeah, it was great.
I did use the word bra, which I don't think I've ever done before in my life. So, all right, I think that's gonna about wrap it up for this week. Yeah, definitely get in the comments, guys. Get in the comments and give us as many ideas as possible for what you want to see from UG as far as a Patreon. But until we get a Patreon, we don't even know if we're getting one or not. But if we do, I hope you all join us as we give money to Ethereal. And I hope you all join us as we enter the ether. Shit.
Brilliant.